How you doing? We're here to rant a little bit. I will get some lights, don't worry. This room doesn't have as much natural light, and I really can't make it work as well as the last one. I got my own natural lighting back here. The past one I had over here, so I didn't have to worry about lights. I'll end up getting lights soon. But look, I've been up and down the whole state of Texas recently, moving around and stuff. I haven't been able to rant, haven't been able to really give my opinions on stuff. People have asked me for this because I do enjoy this type of content, so I wanted to make it for you. Wanted to go out there and just talk for like 20 minutes, just rant. I have everything, basically just one big victory lap, okay? But just to have everything that's been on my mind that people wanted to hear. And so I want to open this with it's like when you like a band, when you're a fan of a local act or a local gig, and they are slowly getting more and more successful, then they hit mainstream audiences, okay? You're happy for them. That's the goal of any band, to make money, At the same time, it just doesn't feel the same way. Very equivalent to where I've been the last several years, specifically really pushing it at the end of last year and this year, of NASCAR just having no fucking idea what they're doing, okay? These cars are horrendous. The organization is horrendous. I want to add that I don't understand how people, clearly not you guys because you're listening, but I don't understand how people function in daily life. If it took you till October of 2022 to realize that NASCAR and the Cup Series specifically is just a Ponzi scheme, like, why did it take you this long? Are you just trusting like any like snake oil salesman that you wander into or that you wander up to sell you on whatever? Like, no, duh. I'm not surprised that the teams are hemorrhaging money. I'm not surprised that the teams are all pissed off at NASCAR. I'm not surprised that they're wanting to make sure that they get more money in the next TV deal. Will that happen? It'll most likely. Look, it's not going to be CART and IRL, okay? I know that. You know that. It's not going to happen, okay? So right now, let's just stop all that stupid nonsense. Stop comparing this to CART and IRL and the split that happened there, okay? I understand it is about money, okay? Wow, that's similar. What isn't about money that we can't compare to or relate to in some form or fashion? But in terms of this, wow, what happens if, the race team alliance basically just acts as a union, which it already is, or charter, like the whatever. What if they just decide not to race? Well, then, okay, yeah, NASCAR doesn't have a series, but you know who isn't going to allow people to race at? All the racetracks that NASCAR owns, okay? So what are the teams going to do? You can't take this shitty next-gen car and use it at like a short track because that's a proprietary vehicle that NASCAR owns. Same with Xfinity cars, same with the Truck Series cars. So what are the teams going to do? Oh, go buy late models and form their own series, race with the Cars Tour? No, shut up. Nobody is going to protest. There's not going to be a divide. Okay, so I don't know why that's being fed out. Clearly, I will call out like Eric and all the other NASCAR YouTubers and stuff because I think they do a very bad job and they look at things in a very ignorant way. So it's not going to be like that. Real quick, in terms of Richard Childress and stuff, I was listening to an Eric video and he was basically like, yeah, Richard Childress was lying through his teeth the whole time of making Reddick run through a different charter. No, he was not. You act like plans can't change. You act like people can't change their decisions. Okay, I don't understand what that was about. Anyway, in terms of where the teams are, where NASCAR is, they're going to renegotiate. It's going to be a long, brutal process. Teams are going to be unhappy. NASCAR is going to be unhappy, but it's going to get decided. Don't worry. We're not having a gigantic divide. As much as I would love NASCAR to go away, it's not going to go away due to a TV deal. All right. That's not going to be the cause of it. In terms of how this car performs, it's wild. I truly don't believe that people watch these races, that they sit down every weekend and tune into, and they don't watch old races, okay? Now, yet again, I'm a lunatic. I like watching old races, okay? So usually I'll have a race on from like the 80s, 90s, 2000s, even 2010s on while I'm just working. And I'm usually rewatching this year's races to do notes on for the Patreon, okay? However, I don't know why people still shit on the COT, because 2012 was probably the best racing we had, and we will have. There is no going back, Okay, there's no going back. NASCAR has made so many terrible decisions. They've set too many things in motion to where there is no going back. This is NASCAR now. Secondly, okay, so it took you this long to figure out that NASCAR is like hemorrhaging money, or the teams are hemorrhaging money. That is basically a scam. Everybody involved is losing money. And then, what's the case? Oh, yeah, it took you this long to figure out that NASCAR is like broken. Like, what is wrong with people? Why is it now that people are like, nah, the playoffs are stupid? Nah, it took you this Roval weekend to decide that. Like, where are you people at? How do you function in day-to-day activities? I'm honestly curious. I'm like baffled that like everybody's coming out of the woodworks now and being like, nah, this playoff format's dumb. Yeah, it was dumb when they first. Why did it took you this long? What is going on, dude? Like, yeah, sure, Bristol, the Roval was a joke. The Roval's a dumb track to begin with. Like, imagine if you take the Roval out of the playoffs and have it as like week 11 in the middle of like April or May, nobody's fucking watching that. This track sucks. It's all as a gimmick. Yes, NASCAR is a gimmick. The playoffs are a gimmick. Okay, why are we just talking about this? Why are the masses just talking about this now? It's coming off like it's like brand new news. What are we doing? I don't understand that. Secondly, like, okay, so like the next gen car, yes, teams are having to hemorrhage money. You know why? Because NASCAR is forcing them to basically lose their ass on this car. They forced them to go to this car. They forced them to go to a car that wasn't tested. They forced them to make changes that were very expensive and do their own testing, whether it was like, wow, what air pressures can we run? Wow, what can we do to not beach the car when we spin out and blow all 4 tires? You know, NASCAR requires them to run. I'm not saying like, I mean, duh, they're going to run new parts and stuff, but like they're wildly expensive parts, like the diffuser. Every single week, teams have to replace the diffusers. That stuff is wildly expensive, and they have to do that. I don't know why we added this stupid diffuser. Going back to my video when I called all this stuff, and then, like I said, this is basically a gigantic victory lap for me. So everything I said has been true. It's wild. And nobody, that's another thing, like, people don't want to admit it because I, like, sure, I go on Twitter and, like, stir up the pot and stuff, okay? But, look, my analysis is spot on, all right? Even this past week, all I was off on was I had Suarez, Larson, and Elliott, my main lap leaders that I chased. Everybody else did fantastic. Had a ton of Harvick, Briscoe, Brad Keselowski, Eric Almirola, Harvick, all that just on the wrong lap. But in terms of analyzing stuff, done pretty good this year. Very happy with that type of stuff. Very happy with the process. But the diffuser is a fucking joke, man. This car is a fucking joke. There is no going back. NASCAR and like, oh wow, NASCAR lost Dodge. Well, like, no shit. It's like when you make content, okay, whether it's YouTube, OnlyFans, whatever the case is, when you start trying to appeal to everybody, you appeal to nobody. So NASCAR trying to keep the horsepower lower so different OEMs would want to join. Going to this type of car to have like a more of a sports type car so maybe other teams would want to join. Maybe other drivers would want to join. What has it shown us this year? Wow, we get like a one-off driver at Watkins Glen. Wow, we get these superior road course guys that like do nothing because this car races like a dog shit. And I mean that in the sense of, wow, this car races so good you can't pass anything. That's what always made NASCAR great, in Cup Series specifically, because it's different now. The independent rear suspension, okay? The two wheels acting independently of each other, okay? When you go over hills, I understand you know how it works, but I'm just ranting here. Both tires acting independently of each other, okay, allows the weight shift on the car to keep the most amount of grip possible, okay? You have 4 corners acting independently of each other, okay? One goes over a curb, it's not messing up how the rear end takes it. Rear end goes over a curb, not messing up how the front end takes it. When you enter a corner and say it has like a late apex, as the weight shifts, it's not negatively affecting the car because everything's working the way it's supposed to. The weight of the car and how it's rolling over is transferred over to the proper corners. When you have an older style car like the Xfinity Series car, which yet again, I have no clue why NASCAR does not run that car in Xfinity and Cup. Who gives a shit if it's the same car? It would be awesome. It would be absolutely awesome. You know what they used to do back in the Grand National days and the Cup Series days? I mean, we're going like way, way back, even before it was called Grand National and stuff. But like, both series ran like the same car. Yeah, like sure, like, you know, Mustangs and the smaller cars are relegated to the secondary series, and you know the Winston Cup Series ran the bigger motors and stuff. But like, why does that even matter now? Like, no, like none of these cars are even similar to what the production vehicles are. So just run the Xfinity car in both series. Who gives a shit? Okay, or just combine, whatever the case is. When you take away the old style Cup cars that we had, you get road courses like we've had this year. You get short tracks like we had this year. Horsepower is not going to change that. Yet again, all this stuff out there. And I'm an idiot, by the way. Okay, I'm just ranting here. But everybody's saying that, oh, just add more horsepower. That's not going to change anything. You have to absolutely change this car. Not like a next-gen car Part 8 or 2.0. No, it's you get rid of this car, or you do what I think NASCAR will do. Is this is NASCAR. No matter what you change on this car, as long as you have an independent rear suspension, as long as you have the diffuser, and this isn't just remove those two things, it's way more. As long as you have a sequential shifter, as long as you stay with this platform of car, the racing is going to be horrible. It'll never be the same. Okay? So everybody complained, just being like, oh, we just need to change this. No, it needs a complete overhaul. So welcome to new NASCAR. Like, yet again, everybody was like, man, these races have been awesome this year. There's been so many different winners. That's not good. Look at why there's so many different winners. Because there's been favorites upon favorites, each and every race being taken out, running into issues, blowing tires, blowing motors, whatever the case is. Why are all these guys winning races? Why has nearly everybody in the Cup Series won a race this year? Because it is completely random. Like, skill has been taken out of the equation. That's why I don't understand why people are just now being like, well, the playoffs are lame. Well, the playoffs are random. They're gimmick. Like, where have you been? Have you just been sniffing paint the last several years? Like, what are you talking about? I don't understand it. Like, it does not take, this is not something you have to run simulations for, or you need time to see how the data is going to come out to be like, yeah, this playoff format's not really rewarding people who it should be rewarding. Like, no duh. Like, what are we doing? Yet again, NASCAR has made decisions that they can't go back on. They can't go back on the chase because they are convinced that people will not watch NASCAR past, like, the summer months if the playoffs aren't there. You can never take back the charters, despite the fact that basically the charters are like an NFT. Nobody's talking about that. Yet again, kind of going back to a Ponzi scheme, kind of going back to a scam. Whatever, sue me, NASCAR. I don't give a shit. You know it's true. Charters. Why are the charters worth so much money? Well, they're worth what people want to pay. What's going to happen when people legit don't want to pay to enter NASCAR? Why is it limited to 36? Why are the fields limited to 40? Why are you taking the non-chartered teams out into the alleyway, mugging them, stabbing them, and leaving them for dead? I don't get it. You aren't paying the open charters at all? Well, they don't have charters. Well, now you're not going to get fucking anybody here. Nobody wants to enter. Nobody can test. Nobody can dip their toes in to NASCAR now because you've locked it all behind a paywall, an expensive paywall. Who has that amount of money? You know, and we're pushing like 20 grand or 20 million a charter. That's the charter itself. To start up a Cup Series team now, yes, you either buy one out, which is still going to be expensive, or you're looking at nearly like $100 million. Brandon, that's kind of wild. That's pretty nut. That's pretty not if you. I mean, I'm not even talking about like winning championships. I'm talking about like being competitive, being a top 25 team. You're looking at $100 million. That's just what it is. Nobody's talking about that. Charter, like 20 million. Okay, you got to build or either purchase the infrastructure, your shop, your base, all the parts, all the things that go into running a day-to-day operation. You have to have a staff. You have to have a budget to fly or drive, or actually like fly your team out, have a driver, have multiple trucks. Like, it is a gigantic investment that people don't talk about. You are going in. That's why I say I don't think $100 million is out of the fucking ball range. I don't think it's there at all. You know. So you've destroyed the Cup Series with a stupid charter system. You've destroyed the NASCAR history with like fake champions that shouldn't be there. You're rewarding people who aren't being there. Like, look, man, I like White Power Larson as much as the next guy, but we all understand that Harvick should have won the championship last year. Like, he had the best car last year. You know, when we look at this year and you see people like throwing a fit over, you know, Cole Custer and how this Roval played out. Like Cole Custer, like slowing down, like I frankly don't even care, but at the same time, like, look, there are way bigger issues than Cole Custer, like slowing down the field coming through the last bus stop. Like, honestly, unless they're like dumb and they have like true radio like chatter of being like, oh, I think you got tire going down. Oh, I think your arm's getting itchy. Like, I would have just loved it if Cole Custer never received any radio communications at all and did that on his own free will. Like, that's a Giga Chad move, okay? But clearly he didn't. Clearly he's going to get the book thrown at him. But, like, I don't understand why people are, like, freaking out now. Like, this is what NASCAR has been the entire time. We have people constantly complaining about just how NASCAR is ran, how the teams are run. Like, what is going on, dude? This is a soap opera. This is a crumbling business model that will stay afloat. No, like I said, there's not going to be a divide. Nothing's going to happen. NASCAR is going to be here as much as I don't want it to be. It's going to stay. It's remaining here. You know, when we look at the next gen cars, let's again kind of go back to a victory lap and stuff. I called. Look, I will take. It hasn't been confirmed yet, okay? But like, look, come on. I mean, yet again, lean into it. I think we can all understand that Kurt might do some one-offs and stuff, but Kurt's over. Career-ending accident. I will take a career-ending accident in exchange for a fatality. I think they're very much hand in hand. And I mean, I told you. NASCAR doesn't care about the safety. NASCAR. I brought this up to a friend the other day, and I can't remember. And I fear that I may have like a Brian France comment like stuck in my brain, which yet again, like, that is not going to be worth anything. But man, I could have sworn at some point, because I wouldn't just come up with this on my own. I don't think I would. And I can't remember where I heard it from. I don't know if it was at a track, at an interview, in an interview, on TV. I can't recall, but I could have sworn that somebody involved in NASCAR, that isn't a team owner, that isn't a driver, involved in the sport of NASCAR, said several years ago, like 2014, 2015, they planned on not having the Cup Series run, and this, I mean, other series as well, but they plan on not having the Cup Series run at a track that did not have safer barriers around the entire thing. I can't be making that up. Like, that is way too specific for me to just make up. But I can't, if you guys can find anything on that, like, let me know. But I can't find the interview. I can't find anything. Anyway, it's just interesting that they have that. Like, Gateway, no safer barriers, okay? Charlotte Roval, concrete walls, just open. It's wild. And another thing, I'd be a terrible reporter because I'd be reporting on shit that nobody fucking cares about. But can somebody, like, bring up the new safer barrier design? Like, that is okay, so, like, I'm clinically insane because I enjoy soil. I enjoy reading about different types of soil, different types of rocks. You know, this new complex that I'm in. First off, I love concrete, okay? If you know me in real life, you've heard me talk about concrete on more than one occasion in, like, random fucking situations, a conversation. I'll be like, dude, man, that concrete is nice. They use high-quality parts there, or high-quality pieces. That ratio to actual, like, rocks to everything else, that's really nice, you know? This complex that I'm in right now. One thing I love about it, the driveway, the parking lot, the road that it's connected to, good concrete, made out of concrete. I will take, I mean, unless the ratio is like 60% rock, you know, unless the mixture is like 60% rock or something, I will take cheap concrete over expensive pavement any day of the week, okay? If you got a parking lot, if you have a road, like gigantic interstates, people don't talk about the infrastructure. I mean, we could talk about that real fast before I go back to whatever the point I was going to make. Oh, I'll come back to safer barrier in a second. Like, as I've been driving around, it blows my brain. Like, people don't actually think about this. Think back. Take a step. Think about it. There is a point to where the United States did not have interstates. Okay, I believe it was Eisenhower who put into effect the project to make the interstates across America. Could be wrong on that, but as I'm like going up and down, I've pretty much actually from Texas, from Texas to Arizona, I've driven all of I-10 at this point in my life, and certainly different interstates. But these are like miles and miles and miles, and I love it. It just tickles my heart when I see it concrete. I know it was expensive. I know it took a long time, but that's going to last a lot longer. That's going to be way more. That's such a long-term good plan. You know, if I go into any town, any city, and I see concrete on roads, on parking lots, expensive initial pricing, but worth it in the long run. Okay? So I like seeing how things are built. I like the designs. I like seeing what's up with things. I have not heard anybody talk about the new safer barrier this year. And I'm not talking about like the design. Like the design's the same, where it's steel and foam, energy absorbent barrier. But when you look at the safer barrier blocks, I don't know if it's the exact same like foam sections that's wrapped around like a plastic, like a covering, whether it be like it's dipped into a mold and it comes out, or it's covered or whatever. If it's to keep like water from getting into the foam to make it last longer, maybe make the weathering not be as tough when it's just sitting out in the sun and in the environment during the times that it's not being used on the track and stuff. But like I know Daytona had it for sure. I think Talladega had it. I've seen certainly Atlanta has it because they just redid it. But look at what the safer barrier like foam things look like compared to what they used to. You used to be able to see all the layers. Now they're blocked. The reason I'm bringing that up is, again, I'm an idiot. Okay, sure. I took college courses in high school, but I never went to college. Okay, I've done my design. I've built a lot of things, but I'm not some engineer. I can't claim to be. The way that this car is reacting to this wall might be another reason that we're seeing so many hits be harder this year. Like, and I understand we're coming right off the roll, but look at Chris Wright's crash in the Xfinity Series. Now, granted, that's on is it convex corner? When the safer barrier is kind of being bent out, and Chris Wright, missed the tire barrier and stuff. That wall never moved. Okay, I understand he may have been going like 90 in that corner, maybe 120 into the first corner coming off the start-finish line when Chris Wright wrecked. That was a brutal hit. That barrier never, ever moved. Okay, if you look back at the hit, that thing didn't even fucking budge. And it destroyed the 68 car. When you look at other hits this year, yes, the walls are moving. I just feel like these walls aren't moving as much. And that's just me as like, nobody talks about it. I would just like a reporter to come out and be like, hey, look what we've done with these safer barriers. Like, what else are you guys going to report? The stupid playoffs? That shit don't matter. Let's get in. Just, I don't even give a shit if it's like breaking a story. Just be like, hey, this is why they chose to cover these now. Why are they a bit different? I don't know. I'm just curious about that. Secondly, Chris Wright, I know I made, somebody, it's very funny. I think that's why people don't take me seriously. Not that I care about like follower numbers, but in terms of analysis, I think I give pretty good analysis. Like, this is a rant video. I just get to say whatever I want here. But in terms of what I do for my living, what I do for my job is Patreon and any winnings I make off of DraftKings and FanDuel. So I'm not just here like spitting stupid stuff out. If I make bad picks, I'm not making money that week. Okay, I'm sure a lot of people don't understand that if they like don't watch any videos and stuff. But I know, like, I go, and tweet a lot of stuff, like, Kurt Busch careering an injury this year. I forgot what else I put. Oh yeah, like I wanted the field of wreck at Talladega, and somebody's like, some of these fans, these real NASCAR fans. I mean, people just get mad and stuff. It just like we can't just have fun. We can't we can't separate business and like. Just having a good time wanting people to wreck. Anyway, what was I going to say? I don't remember. Give me a moment. That's what I remember. I was going to continue talking about concrete real fast. I'm sorry, this is boring. When we look at when we look at life expectancy of like bridges and stuff, and I understand that like they've ran news stories on this before, but I was already thinking about this like back in high school and stuff. Like the average expected lifespan of a bridge here in the U.S., whether it be, you know, a long bridge, like a bridge, you know, I can't even think of the goddamn town right now. I was going to use a specific example. But when you look at bridges, whether they be like long, going over like rivers, just canyons and stuff, or whether it be, you know, like a regular bridge, you know, like maybe like 40 feet long in like, you know, a 2-lane road or something. You know, bridge expectancy, life expectancy for bridges are like 55, 60 years. And some are expected to be even shorter than that. We are in the year of our Lord 2022. Okay? I don't know about you guys, but I'm aware that a lot of these bridges that we drive on each and every day were built in the 50s, built in the 60s, built in the 70s, okay? So we are right at, if not past, those expected bridge life expectancy. So, I mean, shout out to the people actually maintaining, keeping these bridges here, but I will not be surprised, you know, 2025, 2026, 2027 comes around to where we have like absolute gigantic redesigns, construction projects and stuff to repair this stuff. So yet again, as I'm driving down I-10, as I'm driving through the state of Texas, up north through Dallas, you know, west to El Paso, you know, going through Lubbock, going through, you know, different parts of New Mexico and stuff. And I look through and I'm like, all this stuff's going to have to be replaced at some point. That's just how it is. Nobody thinks about this stuff long term. Do I care? Not really. Not my earth, but nobody really realizes this stuff. I don't know why I wanted to bring that up, but that was one of the points I wanted to make. Going back to NASCAR, I don't understand why people shit on the COT. I think I already mentioned this, but yeah, like real fast and better detail, like 2012, I think that car was perfect. I really, really do. It's not as good as what we had in 2000s. For whatever, I don't understand why we can't just design the Gen 4 that we ran in like 2006 and just put the COT safety enhancements built with that car in mind. It baffles my brain, okay? But everybody being like, you know, 2012 was crap, you're an idiot. I would take that any day of the week over this stuff. I would take that any day of the week over this car, the Gen 6 car. This stuff has been absolutely terrible. It's the reason why I didn't go to a race this year. I don't really want to watch this stuff in person. I don't want to waste my money. I already spend my money on it anyway. I don't want to go up there and watch it in person, be bored out of my mind. Like, if you went to a racetrack this year, you got scammed. Okay? That's just how it is. You know, these cars weren't enjoyable to watch. These races weren't enjoyable to watch, you know. The only time it's enjoyable is when everybody wrecks at the end, you know, and that should not dictate what a good race is, what a bad race is, you know. I don't understand people. I don't understand at all. I guess lastly with injuries, I know we talked about Kurt Busch, you know, possibly retiring, possibly not. I mean, we're still waiting for the, you know, official announcement this weekend, but we're all there. But, you know, Bowman, the showman Bowman, whatever you want to call him, out due a concussion. It's wild. It's like NFL, man. Everybody's injured each and every week, you know, and people shit on me when I'm like, yeah, you know, someone's gonna die here. It's just kind of wild, man. Like, yeah, like all the signs are here. What are you talking about? People are getting injured. You know, Cody Ware breaks his leg. Noah Gragson legit talking about, I don't want to get injured. I mean, like, dude, we went back in time. We're in the 70s all over again. You know, we are in, you know, 1992 Speed Weeks at Daytona, you know, when we got tire issues between Hoosier and maybe Tire World. Was that before that? 92. I don't remember right now. When did Bonnet die? Neil Bonnet. It's got to be 91 or 92. Right? Am I an idiot? Am I a moron? 91, 92. Is that when he died? 94. Why did I think it was 92? You know, it's like we're in 1994 all over again, man. It's wild. Like, you haven't heard people talk like that since Rusty Wallace was like, I don't want to see my guys get killed. I don't want to see my friends get killed. It's pretty nuts, man. And it's absolutely wild that NASCAR said, just run this car the rest of the year. Like, Sorry, sucks to suck. We ain't changing shit. Drivers, get in there. Um, so yeah, I mean that's really the rant. If I could think of anything else, I'll obviously continue. But I think that's the main points that I've missed touching on. People being injured, NASCAR fans upset with the state of racing, I guess. Um, NASCAR YouTubers just being NASCAR YouTubers all over again, not understanding how business works, not understanding how race cars work. Like not, I'm very curious, like how these guys function in real life. Similar to how I started this, like are people just dumb? That's not. I'm not acting like I'm the smartest guy in the world, but like the things that people say, the reasoning they come behind, and some people might say that with me, like with what I think, and they're like, "Wow, this guy's an idiot." But I just some people are freaking insane, man. From how they act in day to day life, from how they like see this type of stuff. Uh, all I gotta say is, man, is dude, I was right, man. Next gen wasn't ready. I'm very happy with that. Um, I think that's really about it. I think I've covered everything that we needed to. Everybody mainly knew my opinions and stuff, but I think that's mainly it. Hopefully this kind of makes up for it. If not, if you got anything else you want me to talk about, put it in the comment section below. I will rant like crazy. I just need to know what you guys want me to hear, because I don't know if you're gonna enjoy being like, yeah, I'm right about everything, you know. So yeah, put it down. We could talk. It don't even have to be about NASCAR. If you want to talk more about construction, more about concrete, more about whatever you guys want to talk about, let's talk about it. So thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you guys in other DFS videos when I make all that type of stuff. So I will see you then.